Hey, Canucks fans, hope you're well on this Sunday afternoon. Yes, the sun did come up this morning, or the rain came out if you're in Vancouver. Just want to do a bit of a check on you guys, more of a heat check, see how you're feeling given the results of yesterday. The Canucks' unfortunate loss to the Rangers in a game where they outshot them 39 to 12, and the fact that the other three teams that they're fighting with for the final playoff spot, St. Louis, Calgary, and Utah, all won. So, my question to you right off the start of this video is, was yesterday the final nail in the proverbial playoff coffin for the Vancouver Canucks, or do you still think they have a chance to make the postseason? They probably have to go 8-4, probably 4 games over 500, but I'll explain my reasoning in a second. But before we get to that, I want to get to some of the news from the day. And then we'll get into the Canucks playoff chances. And actually, before I even do that, a kind of cool post that came out. Quinn Hughes clocked a max skating speed of 24.56 miles per hour. So that's about 40 kilometers an hour. That's crazy when you think about it, which was the highest achieved by any player this season. That is crazy when you think about it. 25 miles an hour. 25 miles an hour. Some people don't even drive that fast. That was on one of the rushes. I believe it was in the third period against the Rangers when Quinn Hughes was basically trying to do everything himself, and not in a bad way. I think it was bad in the previous game, the previous loss, but I thought last night yesterday morning, he actually played very well against the New York Rangers. But very interesting. The highest achieved by any player this season. And we see, again, these are miles per hour. These aren't kilometers per hour. These are miles per hour. So you times by 1.6 to get kilometers. 24.56. And then you got some really quick skaters on here in Natchez, in Kaparis, Jarvis, Janmark, Stamkos, Slavin, Popisov, Trocheck, and Connor McDavid. Even you can say Quinn Hughes is faster than Connor McDavid, at least this season. That burst. And if you see the highlight, he snuck down the side wall and got a decent shot off against Igor Shesterkin. So kind of cool stat. Also, he became, I think he hit 400 career points, which was neat. That was another milestone in yesterday's game. And then he'll basically pass Alex Edler very quickly for the all-time points leader as a Canucks defenseman. And then there's also on a day where Kiefer Sherwood broke the all-time hits record in a single season. Interesting, he broke the record of former Nashville teammate Jeremy Lauzon, who set it just last season. So Lauzon only had the record for 1 year. So imagine that Sherwood and Lauzon were on the same team. And that's the team that was trying to run us through the boards in the first round of last year's playoffs. So let's get into today's news. The first one is Thatcher Demko, full practice participant once again, his third straight practice, I think, says he's starting to feel good. So we'll see what happens. And yes, I did watch the post practice interview with Rick Tocchet. And if I was to read his body language and the way he was talking, my guess is that Demko starts tomorrow against New Jersey to give Lankinen a break, who I think has played 10 of the last 11 games. Regarding Pettersson and Höglander, who are both did not play the third period last night or yesterday, Tocchet said that Sunday that Pettersson and Höglander are day-to-day and are pretty sore and banged up with injuries suffered on Saturday. We'll see what 24 hours brings, and I couldn't tell you for sure either way. So for this one, I actually think that neither of them are going to play. If they didn't practice today, it doesn't mean they can't play tomorrow, but to say here day-to-day and pretty sore and banged up, my guess is neither of these guys play tomorrow. So I think Demko's going to be in, and I think Pettersson and Höglander are out. That means you bring in Linus Karlsson back in the lineup. So he's one forward, and then you have to bring in the center. So, of course, whoops. And then today, it's Vancouver general manager Patrick Allvin announced today that forward Aatu Räty has been recalled from Abbotsford under emergency conditions. The emergency conditions implies to me that they don't have to use one of their recalls because I think they only have one more left. So I don't know this for sure, but I would fully expect them to see Räty and Karlsson come in for PD and Höglander in tomorrow's game if neither of them can go. And if it's one or the other, if Pettersson can go, then you likely see Karlsson come in for Höglander. If Höglander can go, then you likely see Räty come in for PD because Räty is a center. So those are some of the transactions today. I'm sure we'll hear more about lineup decisions when we get closer to the game tomorrow. So let's look at this real quick. The wild card race. Let's not worry about Minnesota, who's in the first wild card spot. Let's worry about St. Louis, Calgary, Vancouver, and Utah. So again, St. Louis, Calgary, Vancouver, and Utah. Now, like I said yesterday, Vancouver lost in a game where they outshot the Rangers 39-12, which is pretty maddening. So it's not just the fact that the Canucks lost, but it's almost how they lost. The most shots they've had all season, the fewest shots allowed all season, yet they lose by 2 goals. One of them's empty netter. They lose 5-3. And they lose to a team where JT Miller gets 2 points and Elias Pettersson gets knocked out of the game. That's a sub-story for me. It's not the main story. And it's a game where both Hughes and Sherwood set milestone marks, yet there's nothing good coming out of the game. And then add insult to injury, literally, Pettersson and Höglander can't finish the game off. And then St. Louis, Calgary, and Utah all won yesterday. So my question really to you Canucks fans is, and I'm not trying to play doom and gloom. You guys know I'm the eternal optimist, but was yesterday's loss basically the nail in the Canucks playoff coffin? St. Louis has 79 points in 71 games, as you can see. Calgary has 77 points in 69 games. Vancouver has 76 in 70, and Utah has 75 in 70. Now, so we gotta kind of extrapolate here, and remember the key is that only Vancouver and Utah have played the same number of games. So to do a true extrapolation, instead of going by expected points, I just presume that everyone wins their games in hand. So if Calgary wins, let's say we got to get everyone to 71 games. If Calgary wins both of their games, if they do, they're at 81 in 71. St. Louis will be 79 in 71. Vancouver would be 78 in 71. And then Utah would be 77 in 71. So presuming everyone wins to get to 71 games, you have Calgary at 81, St. Louis at 79, Vancouver at 78, Utah at 77. Again, that is a presumption. So that's one way of looking at it. You could say with everyone being equal in games, the Canucks could be as much as 3 points behind Calgary. And that's with games being equal. A more realistic way to look at it, the way I've been looking at it, is you take the points percentage of the playoff bound team, or let's say the best points percentage, and that's Calgary at 0.558. So if you take Calgary at 0.558 points percentage and times that by 82 games times 2, it is 91.5. 91.5. So let's say 92 points. So let's just presume that the playoff bar is going to be 92 points. And you could say, well, Clay, what happens if St. Louis or Calgary rip off 5 or 6, 7 wins in a row? Then, of course, that number is going to go up to 93, 94. But right now, I'm taking the highest points percentage, and that's Calgary at 558, and extrapolating that. So 92 points. So the Canucks are at 76 points, so that means they got to get to 92. So 16 points in their final 12 games. 16 minus 12 is 4. So that's 4 games over 500. So my question to you is, do you think the Canucks can go 4 games over 500 for the rest of the season? And that doesn't guarantee they're going to make the playoffs, but I'm using that as my benchmark. So 4 games over 500 in 12 games, you either have to go 8-4, they have to go 7-3-2, or they have to go 6-2-4. 4 overtime losses in the final 12 games. That would be crazy. So can the Canucks do it? Remember, they have that stretch where they still have to play, I think, Vegas twice, Winnipeg once, Calgary, and Dallas. So you could already say maybe those are the 4 or 5 losses already. So 8-4, that's, I think, it'd be tough to do. 7-3-2, then it buys you 1 extra loss, right? 7 wins and 5 losses. Or 6-2-4. Technically, they only have to win 6 and they have to lose 6, but that's a really tough way to get in. So, and that's just to get to 92 points. I think that's iffy, especially if Pettersson's hurt, especially if Hito's not coming back. Who knows how Demko's going to do in his return. Plus, you have St. Louis and Calgary playing well. And I don't worry too much about Utah, but St. Louis and Calgary playing well. St. Louis is 7-2-1 in their last 10. Calgary is 5-2-3 in their last 10. So they picked up 13 points, and we're only 5-4-1 in our last 10. That's only 11 points. So regardless of strength of schedule, for us, we know St. Louis's strength of schedule is pretty easy. Calgary's is a little bit easier than us as well. So all to say, as much as I want this team to make the playoffs, because I think it's great for the players, I think it's great for the franchise, the organization, the fan base. Remember how exciting it was last season. I just don't see a path now. On Friday night, I would have been saying something different, but after last night's game, or yesterday's game, and the 3 wins from the other 3 teams, I don't see a path where the Canucks can make the playoffs. I would love to be proven wrong, but I need to be realistic as possible. So Canucks fans, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the chat. We will continue to have this conversation on my live stream tonight at 11 p.m. So I hope you can join me then. Thanks to my sponsors, Vancity Experts Real Estate, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. Thank you to my members, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame, and franchise members as well. Thank you for your support as always. And to everyone else for liking, for subscribing, and for supporting me on this channel. So on your way out, you can like the video, you can subscribe, you can leave a tip, a donation to support me, but most importantly, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you think the Canucks have a chance of making the playoffs still, or do you agree with me that yesterday put a significant dent? Like, no kidding, right? But did yesterday put a significant dent in your playoff hopes for the Vancouver Canucks? And join me tonight at 11 p.m. for my regular Sunday night live stream. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.